going on, guys? Alex here, the 814 ADC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Civivi Knives Qubit. This was a knife that I got in from Christmas this year. My parents bought me this as well as the Bridgeport slash Kubi designed, or Bridgeport design slash Kubi OEM'd Bluff. And yeah, ready to do my full review on it. I have carried this a ton. I really like this knife. I am kind of kicking myself for not getting on the Qubit train earlier in the year when they came out, because I had always, been looking at these and I just really thought they looked interesting and just never got around to getting one. And I'm glad I put it on my Christmas list and I have one in the collection now. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into materials. So there are 4 different versions of this. Five. Yeah, 6 different versions available right now. I obviously have the fully blacked out blade. So this comes in with 14C28N on the blade steel. Blade length is 2.98 inches. This is considered a black stonewash, not a full DLC, because when you kind of hit some light there, you can see a little bit of a stone washing, which is nice. Dual thumb studs. Obviously, it's a button lock. Civivi logo right there. Nice, sleek aluminum scales. The loop over style deep carry pocket clip that is lefty or righty carry. Overall pretty thin. It's pretty much a no frills knife. Dual thumb studs, like I said. One cool feature that is built into it is you can use this as a bottle opener. I have not yet because I don't typically drink a ton, and when I do, it's when we go out for restaurants and I get a beer with dinner and things like that. Even if I do drink, most beers that I drink have a twist top, so I haven't really got to use this yet, but I'm actually actively searching for something to buy to use it. So maybe I'll get a beer, or I like craft sodas and stuff like that. So really want to use that, but I think that's a really cool feature that it just, I feel like more knives should do stuff like this, because I think that was a really good design technique. And it's just another, because a lot of people, I feel like, carry a pry bar that have like the bottle openers built into them, really for the bottle openers. So that's, it's just cool to have, a cool feature, kind of a cool little party trick, but that's on there as well. Pretty thin knife. This is dead centered. Has a little bit of blade play. I have not taken this apart yet because I'm actually a little bit nervous to. I've never taken apart a button lock knife, so I don't want to screw things up and mess up with, the springs and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of blade play, but it's really, kind of came from factory like that and hasn't really walked and talked its way to being worse. Yeah, so I have the black version, kind of a long-winded topic of how to get back into the different versions, but some quick stats, like I said, 2.98 inches, overall length of 7.19 inches, cutting edge of 2.68 inches, because you have this little choil up there. The drop point, it's kind of a spear point, drop point, I would consider it. Plain edge comes down to a nice thin edge. 14C comes with a, it gets really sharp too. It's another reason why I really like it. Weight, 2.82 ounces, so a sub 3 ounce knife, which is really nice. And that's the nice thing about aluminum. It's just really lightweight, but it also has a little bit more of a, premium feel to it. And also a little bit more kind of tough feel, if that makes sense. But I really like aluminum for those, different reasons. All right, so like I've said multiple times so far, there are 5 different versions of this, 6 different versions of this currently out. So you have the standard versions, you have the fully blacked out version, you have a red aluminum scale with blacked out blade, you have a blue aluminum scale with a satin blade, you have a pink aluminum scaled with a satin blade, you have a OD green aluminum scaled with a Damascus blade. And then Blade HQ just came out with, I think not a week ago, but a couple weeks ago, they have a exclusive version of the Qubit with a purple a purple aluminum scale and I think it's stonewash, I want to say. Yeah, it's a stonewash S35 VN blade. So for, like another $25, you can get kind of a more premium version with S35 VN and a cool purple scale. And something else really cool that I just saw probably last week, and now they're currently up on Blade HQ, which I will leave a link to down below to the whole Qubit page if you guys are interested. All the different versions currently available for sale are in stock on Blade HQ, so that's nice for you guys. But We is coming out with some more premium versions of the Qubit. So you have multiple titanium versions, you know, black wash, stone wash, Damascus, things of that nature. So that's really cool. I might look into getting one of those when they come out in the future, because I am a really, really big fan of this. And, you know, We makes really good button locks as well. So yeah, again, sorry, long-winded for, you know, materials and things of that nature. But if we're going off of my review system, materials for the price point, which I have not mentioned yet, which we'll get to, I got to give it a 5 out of 5. I really, you know, there's nothing to complain about. I love 14C28N. I love aluminum. I love button locks. I love deep carry clips. You know, nothing to complain about. So I'm going to go 5 out of 5. Next is the aesthetic. And I think this looks really good. I know some people have commented that the blade like length to handle ratio kind of looks off. And while it does a little bit, I just think this looks like a sleek little slicer, if that makes any sense. I think it looks good. Is it the best looking knife I've ever seen in my world? I can't talk to that. Is it the best looking knife I've ever seen in my lifetime? No, but I think it's very, very handsome. I think it's good, really, really good. So I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think that's fair. You know, some of you guys, like I said, might think that, you know, the ratio's a little off, so it kind of throws the aesthetic look off, but I really like how, you know, the handle has a little bit of a swoop to it, and then it kind of like points forward. It just, I don't know, I just really like it. So next up is action. Again, dual thumb studs with a button lock, so it's really, really good. You know, kind of theme of this knife is it's really, really good, guys. I'll try to quit saying that, but detent for button locks can tend to be mishy. Man, I cannot talk today, guys. I apologize. Just one of those days, I guess. But button lock, you know, detents with, you know, your action can be kind of mushy, you know. But for this one, it's pretty. You guys can hear it snapping back into place. It's very snappy, which I'm very, very happy for. And I think the farther along and the more, you know, the more used to button locks that we get, the better the detents are going to be, the better the actions are going to be, and just more time usually makes things better for the most part. But yeah, action is very, very good. Flies out of there with thumb studs. Nice sound too, which we'll get to. Middle finger flick. The one downside, the one caveat of the aluminum is it is a little bit slick at times. So that's something I have to get used to. But just fires out of there. Close. Again, it's a button lock. Just drops shut. Yes, you might be able to hear. I do have a little bit of button lock or button stick, which typically would bother me, but honestly with this one, it's weird because it almost is like, I'm just so used to like fidgeting with it and using it is, you know, when you flick it out, you get that nice like thwack and then close, kind of a little bit of a noise, a little bit of a tension there. And when I get to going like this, it's almost like it's just like that tactical feedback. I cannot talk today, guys. I'm sorry. You know, it feels kind of good. It feels like responsive almost. So I don't really mind the button stick or the button, you know, yeah, button stick, button lick. I don't mind it. I really don't. So would I be okay with it not being there? Absolutely. Because, you know, it's not something I love, but again, just with how, you know, it's just nice and responsive, and it's weird to think how I'm thinking, but that's just how my mind has kind of thought about it. And now again, there is a little bit of blade play. It's not locked up super duper tight, which I do need to get, you know, tuned and, you know, cleaned up and stuff like that. But for, you know, button locks are fun to play with. You know, you can do like the button lock dance here, or you can also open it with the button lock. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because I do want to be honest with myself. You know, as much as I don't mind the button stick, I'm not going to give it a 5 because of that. Although I do really like the way the knife, you know, actuates, and the detent's very good and things of that nature. But again, I'm going to try to be honest with myself and with you guys so you get a good rendition of how the knife is. But next up is acoustics, and you guys just heard me flicking it multiple times for about a minute there. very loud, very acousticy. So I'm going to give that a 5. I've annoyed my wife with this plenty of times. Like if we're in the car driving around, I'll be flicking this, and the kind of confined space, she'll say that it's, the loudness of it and the tinginess of it can get to her, which I completely can understand because it is a loud knife. So let me give it a 5 on the acoustics. Out of 5 for the ergos. It's very comfortable. Again, one good thing about aluminum is it just has like that nice matte finish to it, and that matte touch. But it also can be, very slippery, very, easy to slip out of your hands. I've had it happen multiple times. I can see that as a pro and a con, so I'm going to kind of, group those in together. But it's very, very comfortable. You do have a little bit of jimping up top there. I can get all 4 fingers on this knife very easily with a little bit of knife sticking out the back. And you can choke up with this little, it's a little choil, but it definitely works for your pointer finger. You just have to be aware of the blade being like right by your finger. So don't be like jabbing into things or things of that nature. If you're using the choil, definitely go nice and slow through. Maybe you're doing some push cuts through cardboard, which in that case, your thumb can land out here and you get really good control, and you can go nice and, easy through things like that if you're choked up. Pinch grip works really well, nice little for slicing into like Amazon packages or mail or things of that nature. You do have to be careful though with the pinch grip. You don't want to push the button. That's always a little bit of a, tedious thing. With button locks, you just got to be aware and, be in the know that it's there. So you just have to be careful. Reverse grip works really well. Kind of do some 7-Eleven gas station knife fights with Kevin over your Slurpee if you need to. Have a nice little kind of pommel up here for your thumb if you have to, defend yourself. Probably not the best knife for that, but it's there if you have to slice and dice your way out of a very sketchy situation, it'll do it for you. Yeah. Pot clip, obviously a deep carry clip, so it does provide for. It's kind of the same thing I always talk about with deep carry clips. It's not a hot spot, but it's there, and I can tell that it's a hot spot. And the only way to me that it becomes a hot spot is if you're just really squeezing this super duper hard. Then you really notice it. But when you choke up on the knife, you get even farther up from the thickest part of the pot clip, and it really is pretty comfortable. So I'm, all things considered, I'm gonna give this a 4.5 as well, because it is very, very comfortable. I just have to be, aware and in notion and be aware of the fact that the aluminum is a little bit slippery at times, and that might be at a cause, an issue in the future. It hasn't yet for me so far, but I maybe would have loved a little bit of just very small like micro milling in there, just to add a little bit more texture. But in the same vein, it does like feel really good, kind of soft and supple in your hands. You guys know, what I'm trying to talk about here with the way aluminum feels, and it has that matte finish to it. But all in all, very comfortable knife, very kind of forward facing, kind of like not necessarily like a rifle grip, but kind of reminds you of how a rifle grip is. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Next up is carry, and this thing comes in at, I think it said 2.8 ounces. So a sub 3 ounce weight on basically a 3-inch blade knife. I think it's very good. It carries super, super well. You have this nice smooth aluminum along the edge here with no flipper tab, no jimping, things of that nature. So if you happen to go down between, your knife in your pocket to get change, chapstick, medication, maybe, you really don't have any risk of, when you go down, grab what you need and come up out, of pulling your knife up out with you. It's not really going to happen. I've carried this in gym shorts. I've carried this in jeans a lot. Sweatpants around the house. It's lightweight. It's it's a good size. I really like 3-inch blade, but enough to have a nice 4-finger grip without choking up. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 on the carry. It's nice because you can switch it over to lefty carry if you want. It carries almost as deep as the butt of the knife. You might have a little bit sticking up out of there just to how the handle is shaped. But for me, 5 out of 5. Pot clip goes in and out easily. You guys all know Civivi deep carry clips by now. So yeah, 5 out of 5. But that leads me to my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. So price point on all the 14C versions. So that's the red, the black, the blue, and the pink. They are coming in at $66.90. Now, I am using Blade HQ to link them down below if you guys are interested. So you cannot use a discount code. I looked on White Mountain Knives, but they are all sold out. So if you guys want to wait on them, definitely check out those types of retailers that allow you to use a coupon code. But $67 I think is very fair. The Damascus version is $80.75, and the S35EN purple aluminum scaled Blade HQ exclusive is $89.25. So I think, I'm not much of a Damascus fan, but I think that all the versions are pretty good priced. I mean, if you want to get the S35EN one for less than $90, I think that's really good. But speaking specifically on these 14C versions, $67, really, really good deal. I don't know how I found this for like $55 on Civivi's website, like right before Christmas. I don't know if it was still like a Black Friday deal, but I believe my parents got this because I just sent them a link. I think it was like $55, which is an even better deal, but $67 for 14C 28N, really good thumb stud action, button lock, really, really, really fun to fidget with. Great ergos. This is just a really good slicey blade, nice and thin behind the edge. Really good for push cuts. Just all around a great slicer, great EDC knife, very comfortable. Loop over style deep carry pot clip that is reversible. I don't think you can beat it. I think this is probably my favorite Civivi I handled so far. Not that I've handled every single version and every single model of Civivi out there, but I think from the ones I've handled and from my memory, this is definitely, probably my favorite. I really have taken a liking to this since I've got it. And I remember being Christmas Day where I got these two, as well as the Bridgeport in. And I remember I carried this one first, and I really was just like, man, this is a good knife. I have fidgeted with it a ton just because it's a button lock. It's fun. You guys know. But yeah, so I'm going to give this a 5. I can absolutely recommend this knife, guys. I think it's, again, my favorite Civivi. So definitely go check one out if you are not. Don't do what I did and wait as long as I did. I definitely regret that. And be on the lookout if you guys are fellow Qubit owners. The Wii Qubit is coming out soon, so if you guys want to upgrade to a premium version, those looks like they're coming in. The Damascus versions are like $550, which is, I hate Damascus. I don't understand. So look at it this way. I'm gonna add a little bit, another minute or so on this video. But the 14C versions are $67, but for the upgrade to Damascus and the budget in the Civivi version, it's $80. So you're spending like another $13. With all the titanium versions, they're $208, $191, and $191. Why are you going from basically $200 up to $549 for basically a Damascus blade? I don't fully understand that. I mean, you're going, how's it going from like 20 CV to Damascus worthy of a $350 upcharge when you're going from 14C to Damascus for like $13? Never understood that, but sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent there. They are coming out in the future if you guys are interested in the premium version. I'm hoping to get one in maybe from review, to compare the two. I'd love to do that. That'd be a good video. I can get 2 videos out of that. I can do the full review and maybe like a head-to-head battle. That can be maybe my first one if I don't get around to doing any by then. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm off on a tangent. I'm going to wrap this up now. So this was my full review of the Civivi Knives Qubit. Leave a comment down below what your guys' thoughts are on the Qubit. Do you have one? Do you want one? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys to say. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.